Greetings and welcome back to the Better Time Challenge. I'm Sean Episcopo from NoHusbandLeftBehind.com. In this video, we're going to be focusing on answering your questions about time and reflection. Remember, there is a video training already available online if you want for the area of reflection. So this will hopefully answer some of the questions that have come in, as well as any questions about time and the better use of it. Now, I really want to remind you, we've said this before, but this whole challenge is about helping you with focusing your time doing those things which really matter the most to you, my friend, the choices that you really want to implement into your life, who you spend time with, where you go, what you do when you get there, to the best of our ability. Now, granted, I realize there are some times where we have commitments and things which we've got to, take care of responsibilities. But let's try to stay focused on keeping you in the driver's seat, my friend. And periodically, you will have to navigate, various, detours and things that'll come along. But we really want to focus on what's best for you. And also for those of us that are currently married, for your spouse as well, right? And anybody who lives under the same roof as you. And then also for those of us who are in the Christian faith, why not integrate our loving God as well? This is also in his best interest that we better utilize our time, right? Now, I've said it before, but time is way too valuable to just waste. And the reason I say that is because I believe our Heavenly Father has given us just enough time to finish the most important things which we have to do. So there's no reason to ever live our lives thinking, oh, well, if I don't get to it, I'll get to it tomorrow, next week, next year, next decade, next century, right? Eventually, we run out of time. And I remember even King Solomon had referenced this in his writings about there's just no way to possibly do quite everything under the sun. Now, you do have options for the use of your time. Hopefully, you realize that there are some things that you can say yes to, and other things you are allowed to say no to. Now, some of the things that you and I would like to say no to, we probably don't have that option, at least at that moment, because there may be some kind of legal reasons why we have to do things, maybe employment commitments, whatever it may be, family responsibilities that we have to take care of, those that live under the same roof, especially those who are still in their childhood or adolescent years, right? Now, there are times where I want you to consider that perhaps it's not necessarily a yes or no today. Maybe you need to work on responsibilities, but something has come to you that you really would like to work on. But maybe you could say later, let me get finished what I need to do today, maybe even tomorrow, and then, possibly in the next week or two, or whenever you can get to it, let me get that on the calendar for a future point. Now, within this challenge of time, I want you to consider spending more time doing the things which you really do enjoy that you want to do more of, and less time, hopefully, doing those things which are no longer feeling like they're serving you at the capacity that you really want them to in order for them to ever be considered priority, right? Now, this week we're talking about reflection. So we've got 5 weeks in this challenge, 5 different trainings that are currently already available. And each week we're going to take and focus on just one of those. We're at week one with reflection. And of course, we'll be getting to the questions here very soon. Now, reflection, remember, is looking back for perspective. We don't want to relive our glory days, meaning that I guess specifically I want to say, I want to live in the present. I don't want to go back and live in the past. All the time that we spend living in the past, we're missing out on potential golden opportunities in the present. It's nice to remember the wonderful times which we've had and maybe try to find ways to recreate similar type of experiences, maybe the same people or the same, what I mean, the same location or whatever it is you think that actually made it special. But we also do not want to recall any of those hurtful moments either, those times where you felt betrayed or you felt disappointed or overwhelmed or whatever it may be. We want to learn from the past, but we don't want to be bringing that hurt back into the past. So I don't want us to have to, even though reliving our glory days may sound positive and avoiding those hurtful moments may sound negative, neither one of those are really necessarily helping us live today. We want to learn from them if we can, to the best of our ability, to recreate more of the things which we did enjoy and less of the things which we did not. Now, just a real quick recap on reflection, because I want to make sure that you are implementing the training. If you've not had the chance to do so, feel free to go back and rewatch the training. There's going to be more to it, but I want to do a real quick recap to make sure that you're staying inside of this area of getting something done. Not just getting head knowledge, but actually getting a better experience. So the first thing we're going to do is to create your yes list. So if you don't have one right now, my friend, I want you to commit to doing one today. Your yes list is going to be the things you want to continue doing that you already have been doing. You know what I mean? Recently, over the past week, month, year, or however long it is that, you've been thinking about reflecting back so that you have a better present, better today, right? So continue doing some things you were doing, but then maybe there's some things that you have not been doing and you want to start doing. Get them on your yes list today. Now, there's a second list we want to create, and that's your no list. This is the things you want to stop doing that you have been doing as of recently, or you want to minimize doing them. This is the one I mentioned earlier about, you may have commitments where you can't just, cut it off cold turkey and just stop doing whatever it is you have to do for your boss, whatever it is you have to do for family, whatever you may have to do. You know what I mean? Like preparing your taxes or making sure that, things are cared for and the people that you care about the most are loved and cherished. There may be things you want to be able to say no to, at least within the realm that I just mentioned. Maybe not no to everything, but yes to some things, no to other things. If you can minimize some of the things that are not bringing fruit or making you feel better, to the best of your ability, let's keep that open because even if you have to do certain things today, that's minimizing the time. Perhaps in the foreseeable future, at some point, those commitments, contracts or whatever they may be, will be completed. And then they can just come off the list. You can stop doing them then. And then our third thing to consider today, you've got your yes list and your no list. Now let's take something from your yes list and let's get it on your schedule for this upcoming week. So for the next 7 days, let's do something that you really would like to start doing or continue doing. Maybe you just want to do a little bit more of that. Let's be proactive, my friend, and get it on the calendar. Let's spend at least an hour, if at all possible, in the upcoming week doing something that you really, really enjoy. Now, for those of us that are currently married, I want to encourage you to include your life partner in everything. So when you're thinking about managing your time, being in the driver's seat, and steering through all these different responsibilities and things, remember that your partner, your life partner, your spouse, is in the passenger seat, right? So they're on this roller coaster ride with you. I want you to consider including them. Let them know what your yes list and your no list is, providing that you're on good terms and you agree with that list. And I want to encourage you to always set aside some quality alone time with your life partner, with the love that the person that you have committed for life, God willing, and if all works out, I wish for the two of you to live, many years and even decades together. But you want to spend some alone time talking about the things which you want to do more of in your life. And then, of course, even those things which you want to do less of. Now, let's go ahead and transition now to questions, because that's really what this session wants to promote. We want to actually think about What is it, the things that as you've gone through the training that have come up? Or even if you haven't gone through the training, maybe you sent in a question that has been bothering you for some time. And I'm going to give you some short answers to give you a certain level of, um, some encouragement, some inspiration to get you moving today. And I want you to be positive, even if we don't get all the answers fully to your complete liking. Let's get something to get you moving, my friend, because I want to also give you hope so that you'll have a better tomorrow. The truth is, there's so much that we don't know about today that let's just focus on what we can control today from the driver's seat. And remember, our wonderful Heavenly Father is utilizing His Spirit to help guide us along the journey. All right, the first question is, how do I say no to my boss when he's wanting me and expecting more of me? Um, that's I guess, a very interesting question. The truth is, I don't think I would ever say no to my boss as long as it's not illegal, immoral, unethical. If it goes against your conscience, then I would not say no. I would recommend take some time and talk to your boss about it and see if you can tweak it, whatever it is. Now, if they're asking you to do way too much, you're not getting any sleep, you're stressed out at night, maybe address that with your boss. If your boss is not willing to listen, you may have to. I hate to go over the boss, but you may have to consider talking to somebody in HR just to find out maybe there's a program available to help you, maybe to cut your hours if you're working too much overtime, or maybe there's just certain things that you need. Now, that doesn't necessarily answer your question, perhaps, but the truth is, I think you just need to be careful about saying no. I try not to say no to those who are, giving me direction. You know what I mean, within the company that I'm a part of. But just keep an open mind that maybe it's not a yes or a no. Maybe it's a discussion that needs to happen. All right. Another question. I want to spend more time with my family, but I have to work weekend overtime just to pay the bills right now. Any advice? I can understand that, my friend. Throughout the years, I remember times where I did have to work a lot of overtime. Certain times it was because I was saving up to buy a house. Um, and then there was a time I remember saving up to buy a new truck and then, and later a new car. Now, those were not ones that my boss forced. But the truth is, a lot of that overtime was forced overtime if we did not get enough volunteers. And there were times where I was able to work things out with my wife to cover certain parts, that I was not able to get to. And it allowed me to free up some weekend overtime. Now, I actually even volunteered to cover for some of my colleagues many years ago who had younger children, and I wanted them to be able to be a part of their lives. So, if you really want to work to pay the bills, I think that's an awesome thing. I think that's good for all of the men and the women in our community to be proactive, to make sure that you're doing everything you can, utilizing the resources you can to be as responsible as you can. Now, we'll get more into the financial stuff with the Better Money Challenge in the future, later on. But I want you to know that I think you're doing the right thing. Try to stay focused on providing for your family. And then, of course, instead of looking at having a day off, maybe just schedule 1 hour of time with your family. Maybe if it can be a meal, that's usually awesome. A little bit of talk time and eating time, or after the meal, share a little bit of time before you have your own responsibilities in the evening. Another question is about reflection. This sounds okay for those who are doing very good, but it looks like this person is not really good at planning. So they want to just do whatever they feel is best each day and see how it goes. Um, I guess if that's what you feel is best, my friend, if you want to live a life that's reactive, I won't say no to that. there are times where I've had to do that, certain times where I've worked in situations where I had to let my supervisor, manager do the delegating, and there were projects I really didn't want to do. I already had my own responsibilities. So the thing that I would just want you to consider, if it's work related or even if it's just, family issues at home, if I can get you to see the picture of you in the driver's seat, that's all I really want for you. I really want you in the driver's seat where you get to control the acceleration and the braking. You get to turn the wheel to avoid obstacles or challenges that you just don't want to, have to be burdened with. Um, so if you look at it, the idea of planning, all I want you to do is to see that you're looking at what are the top things. If you can pick like three things for today, what are the top three things you want to get done? Or if you just want to look at what's most important, the time that you spend with your family, how do you want to spend it? And what's most important for your time at work, how do you want to accomplish the things at work which are most important without getting derailed or, um, misguided or trying to bend over backwards to be the number one top dog in the group. I think that you're probably the type of person that wants to do well, but you just don't like to take the time or be burdened with writing things down, or maybe you've tried it in the past. I know I've done projects where I planned them and nothing went right, and I had to revise every single day, and the only thing that really helped me get through was the fact that I saw that there was progress each day. So even though I got maybe sidetracked with certain things, I didn't realize something was going to happen that I wasn't prepared for, I still got through and I was able to measure my progress. Remember, my friend, it's all about you, what it is you want to do with your time. Let's try to do more of what you want and less of what you don't want. So I want you just to be proactive as best as you can. Another question is, I was able to get something scheduled for this week, but everything went wrong. Sounds like what we were just talking about. I'm frustrated and I really just want to quit. Well, if it fell through, let's try to pick up those pieces, my friend, today and salvage whatever it is. If it's something important to you, I mean, if you're dealing with things with your spouse or with your children, or even like with a best friend, maybe a falling out or a neighbor, whatever it is you're dealing with that you put some things together and it just fell through. Let's just kind of take what you can and reschedule today. Maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's an email, maybe it's a note saying, I care about you, I want the best for you. Thank you for being in my life. Whatever it is, my friend, I just want you not to give up. It's okay to get sidetracked and frustrated and to maybe take the day off and say, okay, I'm going to just rest, let my mind relax, spend some time in prayer and or reading or whatever it is you need to do to just regroup. But remember, tomorrow's a new day. You know, Monday will come around soon enough and we'll start back into the grind. But as I said earlier, I just want you to be in the driver's seat to the best of your ability. And if you're willing to try to plan again, I want you just to look at what's the one next thing you can do. And maybe, like I said, it's a phone call, email. Maybe it's just, having lunch with the person, spending some quality time with the people you care about the most. And I got one more question. I am a Christian who values faith and family. I'm glad to hear that, my friend. My wife and I would really enjoy more people like you. It's amazing for those of us in the Christian faith all across the planet. It seems like we have so many others who don't value that you know, I mean, when you think about your community, your workplace, and everywhere, perhaps. Unfortunately, my work schedule requires me to work some Sundays and miss church service. I got you. Throughout the years, as I mentioned earlier, there were times when I volunteered for overtime. There was some forced overtime throughout the years that I just couldn't get out of. I mean, without having to risk my employment. I mean, getting dinged for it. And the thing is, there are times where we're going to miss certain things, whether it's church or miss something that, your spouse is maybe getting an award, your child is playing a new sport, and you really want to be there. There's going to be times where, unfortunately, we're going to miss out on certain things. Now, church service should be one of those things, maybe if you're able to catch the service online, if they have that. Now, I realize that's not the same as going around talking to the people that you really enjoy seeing, that you sit around and then, you spend some time fellowshipping with before or after service. Perhaps there's maybe even a midweek service or a small group that you guys can connect. Maybe the people that you really enjoy the most, if it is about the individual people, maybe you can have like a group time even at your house. My wife and I did this for many years. We invite people. We had small groups and Bible study and prayer meetings. We've done recreational events at local parks and various other things just to make sure that we kept friends coming together. And usually we would have people from two or three different states. We were not really far. The state lines weren't that far, but we'll say within maybe like a 45-minute, maybe an hour drive away, people would come, and we would actually spend quality time together. Now, I'm hoping that I've answered the questions that are important to you. If you want to go deeper, let me know. We can actually look at a bigger um, strategy if you want. And remember to go back over the lessons that have already been uploaded and just kind of keep a positive attitude, my friend, that you're doing well by doing something. Now, remember that to be enrolled in the Better Time Challenge, to get benefits, to get all of the different resources, remember to make sure that you're enrolled at BTC, which stands for Better Time Challenge, dot nohusbandleftbehind.com. This will give you access to all the video trainings as well as these Q&A sessions, plus the workbook that you're going to want to go through each session and updates and various other tools, whatever it is we have that come out throughout the challenge, we're going to actually send those to you. The only thing you'll need when you go to that website is the name and email address. That will give us a place to send whatever it is that we have to share with you. Now, remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns at any point throughout this challenge or even beyond, let me know. I really want to make sure that we're getting things for you. If there's something I can help you out with it, maybe it's not the whole group needs, maybe it's just something you and a handful of others need. I still want to make sure that we help get you what it is you need. My wife and I have other things we can work together with you on, and I'd love to make sure that you have access to those resources. Now, if you will, take a moment, like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, share with a friend. And lastly, if you will, if you'll visit our website, nohusbandleftbehind.com, this is where you're going to find additional resources and or be able to connect within our community. I want to thank you for your interest in Better Time Challenge, my friend. I wish you to do extremely well in better managing your time over this upcoming week, and God bless.